First thing you do is remove the spring. It's safer to use a pair of pliers, but I just use my fingers. Get that out of the way. We're going to come back here and remove the back screw. We're going to reach inside and remove the front screw. Okay, the soft close cylinder comes in like this, little wooden bar. These holes will not be pre-drilled. You'll have to put those in yourself, but I'm going to give you the locations. Obviously, that's the bottom part. You're going to drill a hole in the back side that is 3 1/4 inches down and about a 1/2 inch from the back side. Now on the back, there is a recessed back, so you can just drill it from the back. The front hole is 4 inches down, and it's 2 3/4 from the front. The middle hole is 3 3/4 by about 5 3/8. Now these holes are not really that particular. You can see where I originally put a pencil line across here and to line this thing up, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. These things, the block is fairly wide. They can be anywhere in this range as long as you can get to it to drive the screw in. Now, to set it, the first thing we're going to do is put the back screw in it. Now we're going to pretend that this thing doesn't have a hole in it, and you basically poke it through, put it somewhere in the middle of that block. You want to line up the back of the block with the back of the feeder. Now then, come up here in the front. You want to remove this cylinder, the screw. You want to push it down as far as you can, and the trick is to hold the door tight by pulling up while pushing down on this cylinder. That's going to give you and then you want to, that's going to give you where the maximum it can be. Then you want to back it up just a little bit to give yourself a little bit of clearance. You don't want this thing bottoming it out right there. So you want to back it up just a little bit. Put your pencil mark in there if you want to, or a magic marker mark. Now this particular one, since we've already got it drilled, it's going to be real easy to put it in. I'm just going to reach inside and feel for where the hole is, and you'll feel it it'll kind of go in by hand as it starts in the old hole. With the new one, you're going to probably have this thing on the floor where you can see it and get to it. You may even have a helper holding the block in place. So it's a whole lot easier once you've got it down on the floor. But we can't do that for purposes of the video, so here we go. Here we go. Now once you get this thing completely adjusted, you can go ahead and put your third screw in there if you need to. I don't know that it needs it. So lower the treadle so you can put the screw back in. Screw the thing all the way down as far as it'll go. Now, that's going to leave a gap. So what you do is you start backing the screw off. You turn it clockwise to make the door, to take it all the way down, to bottom it out. To make the door come closer, you go counterclockwise on your screw. You have to kind of get the weight off of it before you can turn it. Oh, forgot the spring. Got to have the spring in there. Otherwise you really can't set it. It needs that backward pressure. Okay. Now, we want to, we're going to tighten it up all the way, and you got a little gap right there. So what you want to do is just turn it backwards until it touches. And once it touches, you've got it set on a maximum slow closing speed. Now you hear that little bump in the back? I'll show you how to fix that in here in a minute. What you do is you take some silicone and put a couple gobs of silicone on either end, or you can tape a styrofoam block in place. Now the styrofoam, the chickens will eat it, but they can't get to it because it's way back up in there. Anything to deaden the noise. But now you got a rat-proof feeder that's totally quiet when the door closes. Chickens don't normally jump on it. I mean, if you did, you'd get that noise, but most chickens are going to walk up there and step on it, so you don't really need that back sound and deadening unless you just want to put it on there. What else do you need to know about this thing? Sometimes the axle, if you notice over here, this axle has pushed out a little bit. You notice the spring is what pulls it back. There is a little fix that you can do. You can take this nut off, take the door off, and you can put a little spring between the end of the axle and the inside of this surface. Just any little spring is about 3/4 of an inch to an inch wide. It doesn't really cause any problems. You want to make sure that this lines up, this axle crank lines up with the cylinder. So if you have to, I've got a spare axle here. You just take a crescent wrench, and you tighten it down, and you can bend that rascal a little bit either way. And you don't have to. You can do it in place. You don't have to unbolt it. Just be careful and go slow with it. You don't want to do that 20 times. You'll metal fatigue the axle, but a couple of times isn't going to hurt you. And at some point, that spring is going to pull the axle over to where it naturally wants to be, and you're going to be fine. In this particular case, the axle is a little bit off to this side, so I could bend the axle just a little bit more. However, to do so, I'd have to remove the spring and remove this wire link. If you ever have to replace this wire link, by the way, you can use the old bag campaign signs. They've got the plastic bags with the politicians use. Those things are the perfect fit. Matter of fact, we started out using those things. Or you can order extra ones if you want to from us. Or you can use the wire they use for hanging suspended ceilings. You can get it at Home Depot and Lowe's. It also works. Or you can use a coat hanger. Coat hanger is a little bit skinnier, but it's also stiffer, more of a tempered wire. So you can find these retrofit kits on our website, or you can buy the feeder that has got it included with it. With the feeders that are included, you do have to put it on yourself. However, we pre-drill the holes for you as far as through the metal. You have to basically do the final adjustment yourself, but it's pretty easy to do, just like I showed you here. For more information, just Google rat-proof chicken feeder. We'll be one of the top listings, usually the top listing, or you can go to our website, which is thecarpentershop.net. Look over in the upper left-hand side, and you will find a picture of a chicken feeder and a link underneath it that'll take you to our web page. That's just got a ton of information on it. Oh, I'm forgetting a couple of things. Let's see here. These are replaceable. You can replace these cylinders for about half the cost of the retrofit if you want to. You're going to get, on a kitchen cabinet, this is what this is, a kitchen cabinet door closer. You're going to get 20 to 30,000, maybe 50,000 repetitions out of it, cycles. Chicken feeder, depends on how many chickens you got. It might last 6 months, it might last a year, it might last 5 years. There's really no way of knowing because we don't know how many chickens you got. But those things will run, many thousands of cycles before they need replacing. Chances are, once your chickens are up and trained, it doesn't matter if the door clanks anymore, and you can get away with just not even using it. But it's always nice to have. Some people say, well, I can hear the chicken feeder door clanking from my house, so I know that the chickens are being fed. And they've got feed. If you hear it clanking too much, maybe they're out of feed. If you don't hear it clanking at all, you need to go out there and check it, because you never know. Maybe they've scraped a bunch of litter up underneath the treadle and it can't go down all the way. Maybe you're out of feed. But anyway, quiet is a sign of trouble. It's kind of like having kids. When the kids get quiet, you need to go check on them. What else you need to know? That's pretty much it. More information, rat-proof chicken feeder, Google that, or go to thecarpentershop.net and find our main web page. Tons of information on it. We've also got a waterproof version of this, and the waterproof version, this panel right here just recesses back about 3/8 of an inch. This is nearly waterproof. You get a really heavy rain, or blowing rain, you might get some water seeping in there. With the one that's recessed back, you don't have any seepage. Thank you for watching, and be sure to visit our website, thecarpentershop.net.